Hi, this is the Fox and Pheasant part of the Watercolour and Acrylic Ink series, and the idea of the series is that you learn to utilise the non-soluble attributes of the acrylic inks alongside the water-soluble and fluidity of the watercolours. So there's the Fox and Pheasant one, the second one is the duck doodle, and the third one the woodland. And the duck doodle is very much about watercolour. It really uses the fluidity of the watercolour. Please have a look at the video link here if you'd like to see that one, which will be uploaded just a week after this one is. Please, if you like the video, would you like and subscribe, and you will be notified when future videos become available. If you have any queries, or if you have any questions, or in fact if there's something in particular you would like to be covered in some way, please put it in the comments below and I will endeavour to do what I can. Thanks very much. So with the fox, I just roughly draw the outline of the fox and then start to build up with the pen and ink the contours of the fox. And I did this really because I've got a dog, very fox-like dog, just by chance. What I'll do is I will put a PDF of the Fox and Pheasant image that you can download and copy if you like, and learn from the contours of the image that I've drawn. It would take too long for me to draw this all in for you, so I'm not going to do that. Use the pen and ink to pull the contours out on the hair and use those lovely lines that the pen and ink makes. And look, it's beautiful because the pen is so responsive. And just have a number of different colours out so that you can blend it in as well. You can also allow water in at this point too, and allow the inks to melt through with the line too. I mean, the possibilities are lovely. And just get a number of different colours, a number of different inks, so that you can blend some colours through and keep a nice fluid lift to your pen, and just gradually build up the hair. And it does take time. And if you start off light, then you can build up the colour as you go along. But I'm not going to bore you with this because you can do this yourselves. So you'll see from the image, the PDF, how nicely this follows the contours, the muscles of the back of the fox. I've left the pencil line so you can see, but that needs to be taken off. And on the back leg it actually comes round over the knee, and I'm impatient, but this doesn't take long to develop up. But there's a good deal of orange in that as well, a really lovely orange, and it's funny because you mix it into the other colours and it just sort of slowly builds up a sort of tapestry, a richness by the overlaying of colours. Okay, I'm going to stop that because you know what I'm talking about, and just let me know if you need to know more. Right, so there's the fox, and for the ferns and foliage you want the little shot glasses or the little mixers of diluted colour, so you've got enough colour to keep a variation on the actual line that you make, because the variation on the line is what makes it really interesting. And then it's just a question of pulling out beautiful undergrowths. And I found that, you know, an irregular, erratic hand really works. And if you continue, I'm going to take it over his paw there. If you continue with these lovely different lines and gestures, it eventually all comes out to this richness that you've got over the whole thing. And the ferns are literally wiggly lines. And they work really well, developed over a period of time, you know, just on and on and on drawing at them. It's a really, it's an italic pen this, and it's a bit too heavy-handed. And overlap the imagery. So make sure it's not too precise, otherwise it doesn't look like real ferns and the real undergrowth, because of course if it's too regular it loses the natural look about it. So here I'm going to do some going this way, and then I can actually put some going underneath it. It becomes a bit confused, but it doesn't matter because the whole thing is confused. And you build up this lovely richness in the colours that you're going to use all at this point. So a red is really nice in here as well. I haven't got a red with this. And if you use colours that you're going to use on your fox as well, the whole thing just looks like it's, you know, part of its own environment, and it all sort of sits really beautifully in there. It looks very time consuming, but it actually comes out pretty quickly. So get the colours that you want ready. The idea is to get both it tonally intense and lovely dark colours. Get your paintbrushes ready. And the idea is to fill in the darks, fill in the background of your drawing, but at the same time be brave and allow colour, some unusual colours, to fall through. So I've got reds and blues, and you'll see when this dries that these beautiful colours that have blended into one another add this really lovely dimension to the picture, and the blending of the colours really helps the movement of the light over the picture. So it's quite difficult to determine which bits are foreground and which bits are background. But again, it doesn't matter. You know, there's going to be such a confusion of information at the end that the odd mistake isn't going to matter. I've got such a clumsy pen here. Not pen, paintbrush. I am bad for all that, I do apologise. But not very much. You have to put up with it. And look at those lovely, lovely, lovely colours. Dark red works really well in there. And you can put the orange in that you've used in the actual drawing, but use it, more pigment in it, so that the actual colour is more intense and the tonal variations will hold their own. So when you come to the edge of the painting, just take the image off. Make sure the image just continues off like so, so that that mayhem looks like it's continuing off and encompassing all the space beyond the picture. Remember to leave some sort of white spaces where the hair comes to meet the background. What's really nice is to allow the white of the paper to define the edge of the hair, so you're not going exactly round your marks, your pen and ink, you're leaving some whites. Here we have a fairly large expanse of background, so this is lovely filled in with multicolours. It just gives it a different sort of life and keeps the whole thing moving and vibrant. It doesn't matter if you paint over the edges of your inks a bit, but some of the lines are lovely, so try and leave some of the edges showing. Again, it just adds to all this lovely life of this image. And as you can see, I am not careful. I mean, if you're careful and more precise, fair enough, but it's not absolutely necessary. When you do consider the next stage, it's worth thinking about the contrast of colours between the leaves and the depths, because these brackeny leaves are quite dark as well. So if you kept this more a brown and had these more of a red, or these more of a blue and these more of a red, the blue tends to recede and the red tends to come forward, or dark browns, grey browns will recede, and then the reds and oranges of the leaves can come forward. And a lot of it is about contrast. See this? You've got a dark leaf underneath a light leaf, you've got a light leaf next to a dark red, and the idea is to be able to see them really, and you just simply use the trick of contrasting colours and contrasting tones. I've done the background colours and I'm now going to demonstrate doing the top colours, the colours in the foreground more. And I've obviously got these lovely darks, rich darks in the background, and the next stage is really easy because you can just glaze over the top of it. Get the colours that you want again. So I've just got a couple of colours here, but very diluted, hardly any pigment at all in them, and I'm just literally going to touch over. And in this case you do not need to worry about the staying in the lines, just wash in the pigment and blot it out if it's too intense. So again, keep varying the colours that you use because it keeps it more alive. So all the ferns just need a wash over them, and in this case I've sort of used a slight pinky colour. Ferns have got that lovely, the very flesh type tone to them, haven't they? But that is it. Right, then the next bit is where they're dry, so it doesn't blot into each other, is to do the leaves. And now these, I want them again to sort of come out of the background. So really the background should be darker than the leaves. The bracken foliage, especially when it's damp, are really intense colours, deep purples and all sorts. So go for it. I've used a similar technique for this bank of ferns with the trees at the top. I called it footpath because so often the footpaths just disappear. But there you go. Thank you for watching this Fox and Pheasant part of the Watercolour and Acrylic Ink series. I hope you got something out of it, and if you did, please remember to like and subscribe. I hope to see you again another time. All the best. Thanks very much. Bye.